Now, in general, you think of many users whenever you have an agile context in mind. There are end users, and there is an organization. This is your organization, one organization who is serving to the end users, and based on the request given to this, or based on the feelings, needs of these users, there is someone who is a product owner, maybe a series of product owners. He thinks of a features and then think of a development factory, a development team. This work comes to them, and development team produces some working product, which finally get marketed to these people. That is what we do. Simple. So you have end users who are sharing their needs, or you are monitoring their needs, and based on whatever the need they have, you pick up the requirement, you commission a project or a product, and you create a product, and finally you send it to the end customer. This is how Agile looks at as a software development. But in many of the Indian context, what happens is they just take this factory out, and this goes to somewhere else. You have a development factory. Now, this is Agile for us, for many Indian governments. So we don't know who is, this factory is not working here. This factory is not inside this organization. This factory is a hired factory. And there could be another company here which may run many such factories, sometimes for different clients. Say it's a service company, and this becomes your Agile. The default framework of Agile takes it like this, but now you have a conflict of interest. This factory goal is not product backlog. The factory owner doesn't own the whole chain. The factory owner rents the factory. So there is a difference between a rental factory model and owning the factory model. If I am renting the factory, what I would be considered worried of? This hotel is renting this room to us. It's not a training company who has their own product, who has their own room, and who has own customer satisfaction and deliveries. When they rent the room, they only focus on how room is managed, how factory is managed, how friendly the staffs are, etc. etc. They don't care about what you are learning. Are you getting a customer satisfaction based on this? No. I am only considered about how you get served inside the rented space. If you came to a wrong training, it's your problem. It's not their problem. Similarly, this factory owner ensures the factory runs well. It's clean, it's transparent, people come on time, it has English speaking people, they write well, that's it. And that is my KPIs. Based on that, I get rented. Whereas, in a default Agile context, we talk about end user satisfaction. But for me, my business is coming from him, not from him, direct, indirect, yes. So this context somehow doesn't come out very clearly in most of the Agile frameworks. The Agile frameworks just keep it simple and let you figure out how do you work in this particular context. So there are some attempts which are made to create some level of framework, some level of governance structure for these kind of organization. And disciplined Agile delivery is one of them. So many times when we talk about matrices, now as a pure Agile follower, you may get irritated by the type of matrices like timesheet, velocity and all those things. He says, who should care it? You should focus on outcome. You should focus on what my end user care about rather than focusing on how many story points I have delivered. That's very right. The problem is, if you are a factory owner here, the end user is not in your control. The requirement coming from end user is not in your control. And you don't get appreciated based on that. You get appreciated based on how well you run the factory. And in order to run the factory, I have to end up using some other matrices. And that is why in Indian context, you find conversation on matrices always there. Because that is what they get paid for. Their billing is based on that. For them, for this factory owner, that is something which makes money. Not the end user satisfaction directly, maybe indirectly, yes. So, This context is somewhere where most of us would be